Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two pickup trucks making love, American made.
Listen up, Autothots and Decepticlowns. You are listening to Prime Cuts, a non-linear history of the Transformers franchise on television. I'm one of your hosts, Nero.
I'm your other host, Audrey.
And it's Megatron, all dealt with. He's never coming back after these episodes. We're all done with him.
Yeah, Megatron death count 1.
I think that Megatron is a guy who is known for dying and staying dead about as much as Optimus Prime is, which is to say, often.
I think Megatron, A, dies the most of any character in this series, and B, dies the most of any Megatron in this series.
He dies a lot. He
dies a lot in this series.
I'm pretty sure he dies in fucking Fall of Cybertron, so he already has several deaths under his belt previously.
In this universe. But in Prime specifically...
He dies a lot.
He dies quite a number of times. In the same way that they keep killing Cliffjumper, they keep killing Megatron.
He's got that hustle. What can I say? So we watched Darkness Rising Parts 4 and 5, the end of the sort of big premiere event for Transformers Prime.
Yeah. We're going to have to figure out as we go through this. There's a lot of multi-part things, so...
There are quite a few. There's like...
In Prime, a lot of them... One of them goes up to 7 parts, which is nuts.
Wait, is that true? Hang on.
Yeah, it's...
That seems insane.
Technically, the last, it's the one that's, it's not all part, but technically the series of episodes that end with one shall rise and one shall fall.
They are all technically connected, but that's like... Yeah.
Well, they are considered in, like, the production schedule as a multi-parter.
Right.
A 7-part multi-parter.
There's a lot, yeah, there's the season 2 premiere is a 3-parter immediately followed by a 2-parter, which is very funny.
Yeah.
So, we will figure out the end of season 1 when we get there, because boy, we have a lot of ground to cover even just today with the end of this one. So, we start off with Darkness Rising Part 4, right where we left off, basically, with we return you to your cyber Evil Dead, starring Peter Cullen and Jeffrey Combs.
Ratchet is in full murder ambulance mode.
Oh, yes.
They're, like, surrounded and being overwhelmed, and Ratchet he's not even on drugs yet. Ratchet, looks at Optimus and goes, like, is so cold-hearted. I mean, they're all dead already, but goes, I recommend the section, the smaller the better.
And, the Prime Optimus, he's got the swords and the guns like Bayverse Optimus does, but he's, when Ratchet says that, you can see a little bit of the connection there in his brain spark as he goes into butcher mode.
Yeah, he's like, wise advice, old friend. It's like, y'all are. Woof.
They have been doing this a long time, and they have definitely not just been doing this to dead guys. Yeah. Megatron is having a blast, though. Megatron is having a great time. He's sitting up there gloating.
He's in the same position that Nero talked about last time, like the one leg up on the cliff. He's like stays there for the entire scene. It's kind of a boss move of him.
Yep. So, even as they're cutting down all these zombies left and right, but, it's a zombie horde. It cannot be solved with swords very easily. On top of all that, they're getting, like, dark energon all over them, which is sapping their strength. So that's not good either. They're getting covered in the nasty juices.
Dizzy.
They're so dizzy. So they start to get, like, overwhelmed. Well, that's not quite yet. They're just chopping for now. They're doing the Dead Space thing where they're chopping off all the limbs first. Go for the weak points.
Yep.
Meanwhile, at the Nemesis, the children are in danger. What else is new? Bulkhead like scoops Raph and Jack out of the way of out of the laser fire before going into.
Oh wait, there is one thing I want to say before we cut over, which is that Megatron has a line where he's like, "When you fall, Optimus, you'll join my army as well." And it's like, fellas, is it gay to want to kill your rival just so he can become your zombie servant?
A little bit, definitely a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, back to Bulkhead's very, very bad, no good day.
Yeah, just he like stashes the humans behind a rock and is like, "All right, stay here. No one should stow away ever again, and that will surely not happen within the next 5 minutes." So he kind of drives up. He gets up onto the deck of the Nemesis. He punches the guy's head off, which is pretty great.
I want to say one of the notable things about Bulkhead in this scene, and part of it may be just them getting into groove animation, but it's actually something I really like. He moves really fast for a guy his size.
I noticed. It felt like he was overcranked. I think that was definitely a little weird. This episode in general has some weird looking bits in it where things move really fast.
He kind of looks like Big the Cat.
He does. Then he elbow drops a guy to death, which is amazing. And as soon as he just
flings himself onto the guy.
Yeah, when you're that big, you are a deadly weapon.
Yeah, it's like my cat sitting on me. Instant death.
And then he hears some retching from within his chest. And he pops open his chest compartment and Miko flops out of it. And she's like, "I'm sorry, bro, I heaved all over your floor mats." Ugh.
And she's like, "And I'll do it again."
Yeah, she's fucking incorrigible is perhaps the best way to describe Miko. So Raph and Jack are also there. Actually, never mind. They get snatched by Viacons because what happens is that Bulkhead, under constant laser fire with a very squishy human child in his hand, is forced to take cover in the only available place, inside the ship. So we have solved our immediate problem of getting shot right now.
We are inside the Nemesis.
We have gained a new issue. By the way, did you notice that the Nemesis's bow kind of looks like a weird bug face?
No, I didn't particularly.
It's very apparent in the next episode when you get a good front view of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but then Raph and Jack get snatched by some Viacons and picked up. So they do hear, though, as they're being transported to the brig, that that's where they're keeping Fowler. And luckily for them, before they can get acquainted with Starscream's torture dungeon, RC and Bumblebee murder the shit out of the Viacons who have them, because they have arrived.
Thank God.
Thank goodness. Yep. And Raph and Jack tell them "Hey, there's we know where Fowler is. Gotta go check the brig." And
we cut over to Fowler, who Starscream is once again approaching, and he's like, "All right, listen, bud, we've done this a lot, but I can go all day. This is very easy for me." And Fowler,
I'm expending very little effort.
Yeah,
for this.
this is like I'm filing my nails here. And Fowler's like, no more, I'll talk. And Starscream's like, excellent, love to hear it. So, where is that Autobot base? And Fowler's like, the old base, they're in an old military base under your mom.
Yeah, it's great because he hears gunfire in the hallway.
Yeah,
because I think he was actually about to give them up, but then he's like, "Oh, they're here." So
he absolutely was yeah. Again, we saw what Starscream was doing to him. It was explicit, excruciating torture.
Yeah, just jabbing him over and over again with the fucking
a cattle prod.
Yeah. So yeah, he's like, maybe I'm underneath the old sawmill. Or
and then he's like, or was it? Yeah, can't remember. Your mom.
Yep. So
he doesn't actually say your mom, but that is the spirit of what he is saying.
Yeah, he's saying, yeah, they're under Point Ligma, Starscream.
Right.
Where is this Point Ligma?
Yeah, you ever heard of league matches?
So then we cut back out to the hallways, and in a scene that it's important to have this scene here where you have the kids on the ground surrounded by all this high octane robot combat, and like it's like a Saving Private Ryan moment where all of the audio gets muted and you get that tinnitus ring in your ears as they like scramble to not get squished underfoot by all these giant robots.
Yeah, they make some moves in this episode that are ultimately very good for Team Autobot, but in the moment, very stupid.
This experience certainly resonates with Jack.
Yes.
Miko, we'll get there. So they kind of managed to, so they managed to get into the bridge, basically, away from all these Viacons and lock themselves in.
Oh, there is one thing I want to talk about. Bulkhead actually does a really cool move before he meets up with Bumblebee and RC. Where
is it the running power bomb?
Yeah.
Hell yes.
So he's running through the hall, and Miko's in his hand because she's about to throw up again. And 2 Viacons come around the corner, and he, like, running power bombs her, throws her right between the 2 of them, and she goes sliding between the 2 of them as they open fire on Bulkhead. It's very cool.
It's very cool.
It's a very well choreographed scene.
Yeah. So, back with Ratchet and Optimus versus the Deadites, this is where they start getting overwhelmed. Optimus, you literally can't see Optimus under all the zombies crawling over him.
Yeah.
And Ratchet quickly follows, all the while, Megatron is doing his thing. He's gloating. He's gnashing his teeth. He's having a great time. Optimus goes beast mode to save Ratchet, as he is wont to do. And literally, like, tries to walk towards Megatron. He's like, no, I'm gonna kill you right here, boy.
Yeah.
Stay right there. I gotta chop through a few dozen zombies, but I'll get there.
But by God, I'm gonna do it. Bye, Primus.
So yeah, they're in the bridge, back on the Nemesis. They're in the bridge, and RC is like, okay, technically this is the safest place on the ship right now, so all of you need to stay put. Do not exit this room. In fact, don't even move. Don't even walk anywhere. Just stand there. Just stand right there.
And they said, sure, like a liar.
Yeah. So as soon as they leave, Miko is back on her thing about, like, this is, the coolest shit she's ever done in her life. Jack is like, are you okay in the head? Did you just see what happened out there? All of us could have died several dozen times. I just want to go home and work on my bike and hug my mom. I don't need any of this shit in my life right now.
Yeah, he kind of sticks to that, by the way.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, they blow up at each other, which kind of causes Raph to be a little bit upset. He is 12, after all. We must not forget this. He is a baby. And immediately Jack and Miko are like, ah, shit. We upset him. So they go to comfort him, and Jack kind of points him to the main Nemesis console. It's like, hey, what's that shit up there? What's that? It looks like a math thing. And Raph's like, oh shit, it is a math thing. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely a math thing. It's like an important thing that we should definitely get.
Yeah. And so Raph's like, I don't know how, but I do have a thumb drive with me, so Godspeed.
And there's nothing Raph can't do if he has a thumb drive. It's the most magical device in all the land.
It's true. That's the real Dark Energon of the series.
That thumb drive is actually rung. Fun fact. Been there the whole time.
No, that's way too much purpose for rung. I think you mean rewind.
Yeah, that's rewind.
Rewind's the memory drive.
So it's time for a good old Mexican standoff as the Autobot Bulkhead and Bumblebee burst into the torture dungeon. Starscream has his gun trained on Fowler. RC is on the ceiling with her gun trained on Starscream, and she goes, I wouldn't. And Starscream goes, oh, but I might.
Yeah, and man, like, pretty good from him.
Yeah, like, but a very funny way
sick line.
Yeah, it's a cool line. A very funny way he gets undermined here, though, because he has zapped Fowler so much he has become cartoon drunk. Because now
Yes.
Fowler is just like woozy and spouting non sequiturs.
Yeah, Starscream has done a real number on Fowler.
Yeah, and so Fowler says some fucking insane shit about his mom or whatever, and then Starscream just looks down and go, "What the fuck did he just say?" Like he gets distracted for long enough for the Autobots to knock him over. Very funny in his escape though, he turns into jet mode and like blasts RC on her ass with his afterburner, like igniting. Pretty funny.
Oh yeah. By the way, this should have killed Fowler.
Oh yeah, he was very close.
Should have been burned to a crisp.
He was very close to that afterburner. Meanwhile, in the bridge, a guy has come in. A Viacon is here to investigate things.
Hey, wait a minute! There are children here.
Yeah, the Viacon looks down and goes, we have a pest problem in here." Because Raph is downloading the schematics from the console. Now, Viacons are already challenged when it comes to aiming, so trying to hit something this small can't help matters. So Jack kind of tackles him out of the way, and then tells him he could take a picture, because Raph never actually downloaded the schematics.
When we say Jack tackles him out of the way, we mean Raph, by the way. Just to be clear, not the Viacon.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Jack tackles Raph out of the way. Tells Miku to take a picture of the... he tells Miku to take a picture of the schematics. He does just say take a picture.
Yeah, he says take a picture. So she's like, oh, good idea. And she like takes her phone and takes a picture of the Viacon's face. And Jack's like, no, Miko, the screen, please, God.
And she's like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
This is when Bulkhead does a rolling power bomb on a Viacon, where he like runs, or like he's driving, he transforms, scoops a guy up.
Well, what we get is honk honk.
Yep. And then he does the rolling power bomb, which is so good. I wanted him to like transform and grind that dude's head into the dirt with his wheels or something.
One important thing that we haven't talked about Bulkhead's design, actually, which gets really used in this episode, is that his right fist is a wrecking ball.
Oh, yeah. Which
we actually hadn't mentioned that before.
That's right, I forgot, because like it's just, oh yeah, that's Bulkhead, because that's also a feature he shares with his animated counterpart.
But if you don't know
this
Bulkhead,
one isn't on a rope.
Yeah. Well, it is at times.
Oh, is it? That's
right.
Yeah,
he untethers it. He absolutely does. When we get to Breakdown, his shit with Breakdown, he absolutely goes hog wild with his tethered wrecking ball. But that is a holdover from his previous life on a team called the Wreckers that we've mentioned before. And he uses it to great devastation in these episodes.
Yeah. The Wreckers are like they're a faction within the Autobots who are like the badasses who do the dirty jobs. They're like the fucking Suicide Squad, basically.
And sometimes Prowl is their dad.
Sometimes Prowl is their dad. Sometimes, Springer has so many dads.
Yeah.
He just keeps attaining more dads.
Prowl is the sins of the Wreckers. He himself. No one else is involved with it. Just Prowl.
So,
it's like Jesus. He died for our sins.
He flipped a table for our sins.
He flipped so many tables for our sins.
We cut back to zombie times. Optimus is climbing the mountain to get to Megatron.
Wait. I want to talk about the exchange here, because before he gets to the mountain, Megatron's watching him approach, and he says, "You might want to consider saving your strength, Optimus." And as a fuck you to Megatron specifically, immediately after he says that, Optimus starts climbing the mountain without using his feet at all, just fisting his way up the sheer rock cliff.
Yep. But, Megatron flees. Well, he retreats. Megatron doesn't flee, he retreats. It's Starscream that flees. Big difference.
Certainly in Megatron's eyes.
Yes. So he flies away, and he basically says like, this was like the test run. This was like the trial. This was not my big plan. Don't worry, Optimus. And Ratchet's like, wait, hold up. If that wasn't his like big in-game plan, what the fuck is he gonna do?
If only we knew where you could get a lot of zombies. Well, they'll figure it out quickly enough.
So Ratchet is in a robo-cast once we get back to base. He's in like a robo... He's basically in a robo-sling.
Yeah, he's got one hand off.
And Fowler is in a bed. In his suit, mind you. Just fully dressed. In a little bed. In a little hospital bed.
I mean, it kind of... I think it's so funny that they specifically chose to electrocute Fowler so they didn't have to, like, change his character model.
Yeah.
While animating.
For a very long time, they did not have any alternate outfits for Fowler. He pilots a helicopter in a business suit. In another episode, he will fly a jet in a business suit, and that has just become canonized as, no, yeah, Fowler's just that cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's an agent. What else is an agent gonna wear?
Exactly. He's just missing the cool sunglasses. But...
Optimus gets back and turns to Bulkhead and says, Bulkhead, you showed very poor judgment in bringing the kids along with you.
That's so good, because Bulkhead's just like, yeah, yes, sir. I accept the blaming, because like, no. I was the one who did this. Bulkhead was just like trying to keep us safe. But it's not all bad, because I gathered some intel. And she holds up her fucking Motorola flip phone.
Also, this is the first but far from the last time that you'll hear Prime Optimus being not mad, but just disappointed.
Oh, he is maximum dad for sure.
You don't have to worry about Optimus getting mad at people. I mean, he does at some points in Prime, but you do have to worry about the crushing guilt of disappointing him. Yeah,
like Prime Optimus his voice is, he has a very flat, calm affect that rarely, like, unless he is actively fighting someone, he rarely raises his voice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we get the shot of Optimus and Ratchet leaning in to look at this fucking flip phone. And at first she is accidentally showing them the picture of the Viacon. So she, shows them the proper picture. And Ratchet's like, well, the schematics of some kind. I'm going to have to work on decoding them. Then, Miko's enthusiasm has not waned one bit, seemingly.
Meanwhile, Jack's like, I just had a thought. Actually, fuck this.
Yeah, like, he is like, okay, I understand that you're having a good time, and that's, whatever, I can't stop that. Raph nearly died a whole bunch of times. I nearly died a whole bunch of times.
I will say, he makes the more compelling argument than Miko does. Miko kind of, self-sabotages herself here. So Miko's talking about... so Optimus is like, Bulkhead, you still put them in danger. And Miko's like, yeah, and he got us out of danger in the coolest way ever. He, crushed a guy's skull in. It whipped. And Jack's like, Miko, Raph almost died. And Miko turns to him and goes, yeah, I almost died. You almost died. They almost died. Like...
You don't see me bitching about it.
Yeah. And it's like, Miko, this is not the win. This is not the W that you think it is.
We also definitely, she doesn't really make her case any better when she comes to talk to Jack later either.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Jack is like, all right, Optimus, I gotta go. I can't do this. I would like to leave.
Yeah, Raph, let's go.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, Raph's like,
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm a weenie, but I'm not as big a weenie as you, apparently.
Yeah, but it's great because Jack's like, all right, well, we'll see you around school then.
Literally, Ratchet's like, bye, Felicia.
Yeah, he's like, all right, see you later. Don't let the ground bridge hit you on the way out, asshole. And of course, RC is like, playing it cool, like, oh yeah, don't tell anyone we exist.
Or I'll have to hunt you down.
I don't have any emotional attachments to you at all.
I don't see you as a very funny little pet.
I no feelings, completely detached. I'm wiping my hands of the whole matter. So then we cut to, a classic Megatron activity which is
Domestic
using Starscream's face as like a speed bag.
He didn't do. Listen, you know what? Prime is like one of the only franchises where I'm like, Starscream did nothing wrong.
Yeah, no, really. Nothing was his fault. Like,
hey, listen. There's no doubt. Certainly, by the end of the next episode, there's no doubt that Starscream knows he benefits from Megatron's death.
yes.
And that he will certainly throughout the course of Prime work towards that goal. But you know what? He fucking deserves that shit. He deserves to kill Megatron.
Yeah, Megatron, like, it is a... He really just beats the shit out of him. It's a cut to his, like... It's a cut to, like, Starscream flying backward, and then as he's, like, groveling on the floor, we just see a shot of all of Megatron's fingers individually curling into a fist in the foreground.
Eventually, yeah, he, like, sends Starscream flying. And again, like, there's just, like, no reason for this. No reason whatsoever for this. Except the fact that Megatron can and wants to.
I guess it's like Starscream is in command of the Nemesis, and the Autobots smashed up a whole bunch of shit, including their long-range, like, navigation systems, which are important for later. And he let the human prisoner escape without, like, getting the location of the auto base. But yeah, still, like, it was 3 Autobots.
It was 3 Autobots, and like, Starscream, before actually running away, Starscream was holding his own against 3 of them.
Yeah.
Pretty well. I mean, it just became overwhelming at some point, but, like, I don't know, dude. Like, this is a guy who's not built, again, for strength. He is built for speed and agility. So, anyway, so it ends with, you know, Starscream groveling, and, like, one of the last shots we see is Megatron literally stepping on him.
Yes.
Again, the weird shit between them does not stop.
Starscream, the foot on the face.
The foot on the face. Starscream's literally calling him master while his foot is on his face. It's Transformers Prime, folks.
Something weird's going on in there. Soundwave is... Yeah, and you know Soundwave is just over in the corner watching all this happen.
Recording all this happen.
This little fucking sicko.
Listen, he needs to have the sound bites, right?
He does. Here's Starscream. Here's what you sounded like when Megatron punched you in the solar plexus earlier.
Gladys voice. That's you. That's how dumb you sound.
So we cut back. Starscream promises to, like, deliver Megatron the plan. You know, he will make sure that Megatron's plan goes off without a hitch. And Megatron's like, yeah, you better. So we cut back to Jack. He's at home. He's fixing up his old shitty 10-speed. You know, just chilling. Bulkhead and Miko roll up. And Miko tries to explain a little bit about why she is the way she is. And frankly, not all that terribly sympathetic to her.
Well, I mean, it's not even that he's not sympathetic. He's not, like, rude to her or anything.
No, he's not. He's just like, that's nice for you. You live the way you want. That's not for me.
Yeah, he's like, so Miko's like, listen, in Japan, in Tokyo, I have 2 loving parents, like straight A grades, a piano teacher, and a vibrant life. And Jack's like, sounds nice. And Miko's like, no, it sounds boring. It's boring. I hate it. And they have, like, this whole discussion about it. And eventually Jack's like, I was raised to be responsible. I was raised to do my homework, to, like, respect my to respect my mother, to do my job. And, like, that's what's important to me. And it's just, like, we're just different. Like, I don't want to, like, yuck your yum, but this is who I am. And Miko's like, all right, nerd.
Yeah, basically. She's also like, but she also trying to say, like, you were a great team leader. You really pulled things together. And he's like, yeah, maybe. I don't want. That's not me though.
She said, you saved my life. And he's like, I'm not a soldier. I'm not anywhere close to a fighter. I'm not a fighter. Like, I'm not. Like, that's not me. Like, I may have saved your life because I was taught responsibility, but this is not something I want to be a part of my daily life.
Yeah. It's like, I just want to work on my bike. I want to work at my shitty burger job. I'm going to save up for a motorcycle. And Miko's like, yeah, all right, fine. Whatever. Let's go, Bulkhead. Back at Auto Base, Ratchet.
It's interesting because she doesn't say let's go, Bulkhead, but she leaves, and this is when Jack looks out and he sees Bulkhead there, picking her up and leaving, and he's like, ah, damn, right.
Yeah, she has,
I could have
still
that.
has her buddy.
Yeah. Could have been
buddy.
me, but I'm playing.
So, Ratchet, if he had a monocle, it would pop out when he finally decodes the schematics, and it's like, Optimus, they're building the space bridge.
Stupid.
And Optimus is like, oh, well, clearly Megatron is going to try to seed the fucking planet with Dark Energon to pull a giant army of zombies through.
Specifically the planet of Cybertron.
Yeah, he's and as we see straight into the cold open of Darkness Rising Part 5, we see a vision of just that as Optimus narrates over the stakes of this episode, basically. Of like, if we don't defeat Megatron here, an endless horde of ravenous Cybertronian zombies will lay waste to this planet and everyone on it. So after our little cold open showing, what'll happen if we fail this mission, basically.
So, where Optimus is going, the dead of Cybertron will dig through the ditches and burn through the witches and slam with the back of Earth's Dragula.
And then we cut to Knockout Burger. Jack's getting ready for another shitty day on the job. Uh-oh, RC is there. And I really like this, because he's like, all right, look, Miko and Bulkhead already tried this shit. I'm not interested in coming back. I'm not interested in Optimus trying to get me to come back. And RC's like, no. I'm not here for Optimus. I'm not here to try to get you back.
I just gotta like ya.
He's like, listen, Jack, I'm my best friend of, who knows how fucking long. My partner,
best friend / lover.
Just got fucking ganked. And I'm real fucked up about it. I'm very lonely. I just like to be your friend.
Yeah. Jack's like, I never thought I'd fight with a motorcycle. And RC's like, what about with a friend?
She's like, maybe it's the grief talking. And yes, RC, it is the grief talking.
It's almost certainly the grief talking.
So, back at Auto Base, the Autobots are formulating a plan. Optimus is like, okay. So the ground bridge cannot go to space. This is implied in the name. However, we need to go to space. So
unless we wish really hard.
So what we're gonna do is we are going to slingshot ourselves into orbit, but we can't do it purposefully. We end up where we end up, basically, and we gotta figure out what to do from there. And then Ratchet's like, yeah, you gotta be careful though, because if the ground bridge fucks up, you might simultaneously be everywhere all at once in the universe and then die. So don't fuck up.
Low stakes.
So yeah, everyone's gathering. RC brings Jack back to the base, and everyone's saying their goodbyes.
Jack's like, hi, and everyone's like, bye.
Yeah, bye. He's like, RC, see you again soon. And she's like, yep. Ratchet's like, Optimus, if you leave me stranded on this fucking shithole human-infested planet, I'm never forgiving you.
I don't think I appreciated when I was first watching this when I was 20 how badly Optimus and Ratchet were boning.
Oh yes, absolutely.
I really didn't appreciate that.
Optimus just goes, duly noted, old friend.
Wink, wink.
So Optimus is still trying to make maximum overdrive happen. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Stop trying to make it happen. It's weird.
That's my dad. Let my dad have his cash.
It's a funny little thing. They drive. It's so funny. They're driving through the ground bridge, and they're briefly driving in space. Now, if you want to see lots of shots of cars driving around in space, may I suggest Transformers Energon? But instead they transform to robot mode and kind of magnetized to the space bridge. And by the way, so the space bridge design in this show is kind of interesting. It's very not organic, but natural looking. It's like a big hunk of rock almost.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a Stonehenge-y sort of thing.
Yeah, it's always been there, but clearly the Decepticons were building this over the past 3 years.
Right.
This is where we get the front-facing shot of the Nemesis as it flies through the space bridge, where it kind of looks like a weird bug. And then I have here Team Prime sets up for a heroic last stand as Megatron gets ready to open up this fucking pit.
Yeah, he's also, as he's doing it, he is, again, just laying into Starscream.
Yeah.
He's like, fucking hell, Starscream, my ex is so much hotter and cooler and better than you. And
yes, I know. You tell me every day.
Starscream's like, if you love Optimus so much, why don't you go marry him? Sorry, Lord Megatron.
Yeah, just a hand shoots out from off-screen, wraps around his neck. So because the Autobots
Muppet choked out.
Yeah, because the Autobots thrashed their nav systems, they can't get a lock on Cybertron, which is of course required for the space bridge to open. However, Starscream has Soundwave on that. He's specifically like, and I'm the one who told Soundwave to do that, so that was my idea. Megatron just ignores him and is purple. So, back at the auto base, Ratchet is confused as to well, if the nav system is smashed up, then how are they going to pinpoint the accuracy? There's clearly nothing on Earth that would be able to get Cybertron's coordinates so exactly. And Raph is like, what about the very large array? He's like, oh shit.
And wow, well, at least they can be comforted in knowing that the Decepticons don't have any communications officers.
Yeah. So yeah, Ratchet's like, all right, well, we'll just have Agent Fowler call the Pentagon and get them to get us a line in there and shut the place down. And they look over and Agent Fowler says something about waffles, and Ratchet's like, right, kids, your time is now. Actually, I think it's actually Jack that volunteers. Like, no, we have to do this. We can do this. Just ground bridge us in there.
Yeah.
So I should note, as the space battle goes on up in space, where space battles usually happen, we see our first jet Viacons, and they look very funny because they just look like cars with wings. They are very clearly
that's true.
The Viacon models with plain bits glued onto them. I think later in the series we see some actual jet Viacons. I even think they're called Seekers. But for now we just have cars with plain parts stapled onto them. So the kids managed to get into the very large array suspiciously easily, almost like some kind of faceless horror has murdered everyone who was already there.
No, he just put them gently to sleep. He sang them lullabies. He has a lot of them stored up in his memory banks.
So they,
He's a good dad.
They just waltz in there and they're like, "Hey, no one's around, and all the doors are unlocked. That's weird." So Raph just sets up at the computer. He's like, "Oh, well, the Decepticons are ordering the system, but they're probably operating it remotely, so there's no way they know we're in here." And we kind of pan through the facility, and then we see Soundwave crouched in the main array room, hooked onto everything, and we see a guy slumped against some machinery, and he's not moving. No. I don't know, he's probably fine though. Yeah,
I would say don't worry about it.
Soundwave would never hurt anyone. He's such a nice guy. So yeah, that's a surprise tool that will help us later. He actually it'll help us right now, because what Soundwave does is once he notices someone is counter hacking him, he's like, that's weird. So he hacks into the security cameras and kind of cycles through them. And he's like, children should be easy to kill. I mean, incapacitate non-lethally.
Now, we need to talk about the fact that Soundwave has tentacles in Prime.
He sure does, just like his live-action movie counterpart.
Yeah.
They're a little bit less gooey than those, though.
Yeah.
Bayverse Soundwave is very ooey-gooey with the tentacles.
Yeah, these are a little more consentical than,
Oh, God. So, Soundwave...
Didn't like that one, huh?
No, I didn't. Soundwave is sliding in there, getting ready to twist some teenagers' heads off. when it's so funny because like Jack and Nico notice immediately, and so they sort of run around. Raph also notices, but he can't get up from the computer because he's trying to counter hack, and he stays there just long enough, and then he finally like abandons his post. He grabs his flash drive and like runs out of there. Miko grabs an axe and attempts to swing at the tendril, but then it just catches the axe and slides away, and Jack is like, "You gave it an axe? Is that what you just did?"
Yeah, it like he very delicately takes it.
Yeah, so we're just like, "Ooh, that's a thank you very much for that, young lady." And he, instead of using it to sort of chop the children into mincemeat, because that would be a waste of time and energy, Soundwave instead just like slides the tentacle back up and cuts the central cable to the system, locking them onto Cybertron's coordinates. It's a very smart move. He's like, well, if I spend some time trying to kill these other children, the small one could just counter hack me again and fuck up the process. So instead, I will simply not do that. And this is great because they all run out after him as he's getting ready to leave. Miko takes out her phone to snap a picture, and then Soundwave looks down at her and snaps a picture right back.
Yeah, it's literally like, watching you, watching me.
Like a faceless, silent freak of nature. He's pretty cheeky.
Yeah.
He tells a lot of jokes. So, Space Bridge is open, and Megatron yeets this entire chunk of dark energon right at the planet to awaken all the zombies. And Optimus is like, well, Ratchet, do you think we could blow this place? And he's like, yeah, probably. There's a lot of energon coursing through this thing's system, so if you do the right thing, this thing will explode. And so he sends the rest of Team Prime out to do just that, while he and Megatron have a little bit of the Transformers the movie reenactment.
Yeah. It's it's a good fight. I'll give it that much.
It is. Oh, I also want to show a good moment here where when Optimus is asking Ratchet about his plan, Ratchet's like, you realize that this space bridge is the only way we're ever going home, right? Like, if this thing explodes, we might not ever see Cybertron again. And Optimus is like, I'm aware of that. Are you still willing to go through with this plan? He's like, yeah, fuck it. Gotta save the Earth.
Let's fucking go.
So yeah, Optimus and Megatron have a really cool fight. They say several of the lines. I'm pretty sure one of them, one of them says, "One shall stand, one shall fall."
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, literally, that's not quite yet.
Yeah.
Because as they are doing this, the space bridge does activate.
Yeah, space bridge activates. A lot of zombies on their way.
Yeah, Megatron says, "See ya, psych!" Goes hurtling through it and crashes his ass into the planet, where he infects the entire planet.
No, he just yeets the rock in there.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, he crashes.
The space bridge opens earlier.
Yeah, he eats the rock in there, and it crashes into the planet where there's a lot of zombies, and like Optimus and Ratchet are watching this, and it's sort of like a failed step one kind of deal.
Yeah. So as they're fighting, Starscream actually spots all of the other Autobots like doing a hacking minigame on the underside of the space bridge. He's like, Megatron, I think you might have been bamboozled. You might have been trickeroosed here.
Yeah. Oh, I do want to say, right. So when they're discussing when Optimus is like, can we blow this thing to smithereens? Ratchet is like, yes, we can, but.
I talked about that earlier.
Oh, did we? Sorry.
Like, yeah. We went like, it's our only way home.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, like, Scourgeon's like, Megatron, you are, I believe you are being inflicted with botherations.
Yeah, and again, like here, it's not like a particularly strong attempt, but I do think it is interesting to see that there's at least part of Starscream that's like, yo, you're gonna die, get away from there.
Yeah.
And trying to save Megatron's life.
there's a great thing here where after he radio's this in, Megatron goes like, fucking running interference, distracting me. You would have made a great Decepticon, Prime. And Optimus responds with, I chose my side. So Megatron runs off to do some strafing runs on the other Autobots. RC is being led through the Bioshock hacking minigame by Ratchet to make the space bridge go boom. Unfortunately, that means she is target number 1 for Megatron's strafing runs, and she gets shot to shit and goes hurtling off into space.
Again, so and again we see in Prime sort of the stakes again. They're fairly consistent about the weight that shots do. Megatron does more damage than most because he's Megatron. But again, like the damage is fairly consistent, unlike in Armada, where sometimes it was very bad and sometimes it was whatever. The question is always, can it hit it?
Yeah, Megatron very oftentimes can. But even though he blew RC away, the space bridge is already set to self-destruct. Ratchet opens up a ground bridge for everyone to dive into to escape as the Terrorcon army, by the way, those are what the zombies are called in this. They are the Terrorcons. Are like almost there. They're literally on the other side of the weird space bridge membrane. And Megatron is Starscream. This is another moment where Starscream is like, just fucking run for once in your life. Just retreat and we'll fight another day. Yeah,
exactly. He's like, Lord Megatron, I am literally... Starscream... Yeah, Megatron's like, where's my ship? And Starscream's like, what do you mean, where's your ship? Are you insane?
We're leaving.
Like, it's like, Lord Megatron, we would never have made it through there, and you're not going to make it either if you do not retreat immediately. I'm, like, begging you to leave.
But Megatron, he's too juiced up on the dark energon. He's not thinking straight. Instead, he reaches out to do a little bit of a Birth of Adam thing with his Terrorcon army, and then the space bridge fucking explodes and kills all of them.
Yep. And definitely Megatron as well.
Definitely. He was at ground zero. Optimus says there's no way even Megatron could have survived that. Also, Bumblebee does, like, grab RC and save her. Pull her into the ground bridge. Speaking of, back at the base. Actually, first, a great moment here where we cut to the Nemesis, and in the world's most satisfied tone of voice, Starscream announces that Megatron has fallen. And now he leads to the Decepticons.
So, I mean, it's an interesting transition. Because, again, we were just talking about how he was very genuinely begging Megatron to, like, leave just beforehand. So it's not as though he was like, oh, oops, I accidentally sent Megatron into this exploding space bridge. Like, he was really trying to get Megatron out of there.
Yeah, but if the
fact,
opportunity presents itself.
Right, exactly. Now that he's there, and it starts off like almost a little bit sincere, but he's like, it is with like the deepest and heaviest of hearts that I have, that I must announce that Lord Megatron's spark has been, and then he like raises his head, extinguished, and he like does a little smirk, and it's like, all right.
It's basically just like that scene from The Emperor's New Groove, where it's Yzma having Kuzco's funeral. Well, back to work! Mm-hmm. So, back at the auto base, we kind of get everyone coming through the ground bridge one at a time. You got Optimus first, Bulkhead, and Miko's very happy. And then Bumblebee shows up cradling a half-dead RC in his arms. And Jack's just like, oh shit, oh no, oh no.
I can't remember what Ratchet says, but...
I wrote it down. He says, we lost one this week. Buy the Allspark, don't let it be two. Bro!
Yeah, that's your job! You're the doctor, Ratchet! Do something!
Is there a doctor in the house? Ratchet, that's you. Oh, shit.
I'm glad we had the exact same note for that.
Yeah, I was like, literally, I wrote in all caps, that's your job, Ratchet.
Mine was, then do something, Ratchet.
Allspark nothing. Just get in there. What are you here for?
And
but
Jack,
thankfully,
Jack like approaches, and He places his hand in RC's limp hand, where it's fallen off of, Bumblebee's bridal carry. Mm-hmm. And as he does this, RC's like, "Really, Jack? There are other motorcycles." And Jack says, "But you're my first?"
Aww. Then Prime is like, "Yep, Megatron's definitely dead."
Which is
no
not
one could
weird at all.
that.
Not weird at all to say, for Jack to be saying that RC's his first.
Yep. Listen. The Arachnid episode is coming up very quickly.
Oh, Janitoris, my beloved!
So, I like this because Miko is like, "Oh, does this mean we have to go home now and forget all this ever happened?" And Optimus is like, "Well, maybe not."
Optimus is like, "Listen, honestly, Miko, we have way bigger things to worry about right now."
Yeah, you can hang, you can chill. Like, the Starscream's still out there. Maybe you're still in danger. Mostly it's just an excuse to have more. He's collecting more children. That's what's happening here.
Woogie, 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 woogie.
So then we end, another Bayverse classic here, with Optimus making a big grand speech about how the Autobots have found a home on Earth and will defend it to their last breath, and how they've learned so much from their human friends. And that's the end of the first 5-parter, Darkness Rising. Megatron's dead. It's all fine now.
Well, I just want to say the actual lines from Optimus at the end, because they're kind of good. Which is, "Though we did not choose to be of Earth, it appears we are here to stay. Anyone who approaches this planet with hostility, no. We will defend this planet. We will defend humanity. We will defend our home."
Hell yeah. Those speeches were always the best part of those movies anyway. Because Peter Cullen's just good at reading cool words.
It's true. Very soothing voice.
All right, time for the fucking question gauntlet.
Woohoo!
We got so many of them because we skipped them last week because we went for almost 2 hours. But we're making good time here, so we got plenty of time to cover all these questions. So, first of all, from Casey Cosmotector, what's your top 3 Prime Cliffjumper moments? Number 3 is... when he had horns on his car hood. That was pretty cool. Number 2 was when he said, "You mess with the bull, you get the horns." Number 1 is him telling that story about how he pissed off a bunch of New York cops.
Number 1 is him coming back from the dead.
Number 1 is him eating that Viacon's face.
Number 1 is actually Starscream killing him, because it shows Starscream being competent for once.
It's true.
From Robinus Prime, what are your predictions on where the character of Cliffjumper will go in the coming seasons?
I will say, he does show up again in flashbacks.
He does.
He's also not Dwayne Johnson. Could not get him back for those appearances.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Alright, from Slipstream Sam, if you were a fucked up robot drug dealer, what would you call the various products you sell? Oh.
I've always liked death sticks from Star Wars. I think that's a really funny thing to call a drug. So let's see. I'd have to let's cyber that up a little bit.
Wait. I got it. Angel Rust.
Ooh, Angel Rust. I like that. Let's see. Black tar, but it's literal black tar.
Literally,
like actual tar.
Literally just neon.
Oh my god, just huffing neon?
Yeah, literally just neon.
Oh shit. Well, there's a whole wide world of robot drugs that Transformers has left underexplored.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on TFP design language overall? I'm a fan. Obviously, I'm a fan.
I also quite like it. It was definitely a bit of an adjustment here because there's a lot going on here. There's movie stuff, there's animated stuff. It's all mashed together. It's in 3D, which hasn't been a thing since Cybertron.
I genuinely like how smooth it all looks.
Yes.
Like none of it looks like it couldn't transform into cars and stuff. But it's like I think it takes a lot. I mean, I also think it takes the root mode designs take a lot of inspiration from 2010 era vehicles. Yes, which were all trending much more towards curvier. I mean, look at things like the Miata, for example, or the Camaros that were coming out at that point. You know?
Yeah.
So all of that stuff was trending towards curvier stuff, which lend itself to a sort of smoother, rounder, but still, like, very greebled, or, like, not extremely greebled, but, like, nicely greebled, root mode designs.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun proportion stuff and a lot of cool silhouettes that they can play with in the show.
Yeah. They had, I will say, I think Prime, maybe, like, animated. But I think Prime had some of the, like, most fun in designing and really stretching, because again, like, at the core challenge for the designers of these characters at the end of the day is that they do have to actually be able to turn into the things that they do as toys, right? You have to be able to sell these things as toys. That's the entire point of it.
I think they had one thing that gave them a bonus that they already managed to capture that very well with the animated toy line, which looked insanely good for how stylized that show was.
Right. So, but I think Prime really played, again, like, my Prime example of this is always Soundwave in Prime, where it's like, you can very clearly see that they had fun sort of stretching the imagination of how do they make this UAV into a root mode by making him Slender Man. So.
And then the other thing is that, like, for animated, they could just in between a lot of transformations. There aren't a whole lot of detailed transformation stock footage sequences in animated. For Prime, you have to make these work as a full 3D model, which is an additional set of challenges. They have to look and feel weighty. They have to at least partial. I mean, we have RC going from a motorcycle the size of her leg to a giant robot, but that's just mass shifting. That'll happen. Yeah, it's. I think that they did a grand job with it, and the designs will only continue to get better from here as we get introduced to more members of the cast. Casey Cosmotector asks, what other characters are in the genre of cliff jumper and the guy from Suicide Squad who can climb any surface? And that they definitely make it out of the conflict and have a nice happy life in the countryside and do not get killed on the show to show the stakes.
It's not exactly the same thing, but one of the things that immediately comes to mind is Assassin's Creed 3.
Right.
Where you play as Connor's dad for, like, the first couple
missions.
It's more
of like a heel turn, though, right?
Yeah, he doesn't die. He's fine. And then he, like, goes on to be the main character of 4, I think.
Yeah, like, that is certainly a genre of guy. The sort of sacrificial lamb to show the stakes. It happens a lot in, like, horror movies, specifically horror movies about, like, a squad, like aliens and whatnot. I'm sure there was a character like that in Aliens. I just don't remember who it was.
There's actually, what happens in horror movies a lot, especially the longer franchise, is that, like, the final girl of the first movie will become the first victim of the sequel.
I'm just blanking on, like, other big examples as of late. I mean, there's the entire first squad in the Suicide Squad, I guess. They all count.
Exactly.
Like, it's certainly devices being used, but also, like, the as she points out in the parenthetical here, incomprehensible terms, dumb early death / being written off / not being able to hire the voice actor. That last situation definitely happened on Steven Universe a lot.
Oh, actually, well, yeah, we don't talk about Sukalite. But actually, it's the funniest example I can think of is the fucking wife from Austin Powers who dies immediately in the second movie because she's a sex bot.
Oh my god. That's so funny.
And they couldn't get her actress back, which is why that's why. So they replaced her actress and then killed her off immediately and made her retroactively a sex bot the entire time.
God.
Remember that?
I mean, if you can't get the actress, if you can't get the actress back, that's what you got to do. I recently watched fucking Spider-Man No Way Home, a solid B- film. But one thing that was really weird was that they couldn't actually get the actors who played the Lizard or Sandman back. So they had these sound-alikes voicing their, CGI cartoon versions, right? But they also had archival footage spliced in from Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man for when they got untransformed. It was really weird, and it was really obvious when they did it. It was strange. I don't know. Anyway, Cassarachnid asks, if there was a different early death than Cliff Jumper, Who do you think would have had the least narrative impact? I don't know. I mean, they're so tight-knit.
Yeah. I mean, can we include...
We would have to make up a new guy.
I mean, it would probably... Here's the thing, and this may not be a popular answer. I'm going to say it would be Bulkhead, not because he's not important, but because I think Cliffjumper would have taken his place. Yeah,
as the heavy, for sure.
As the heavy, and the reckless one that Miko connects with.
Yeah, I think that definitely would have been the case. Because Bulkhead, he seems definitely like the least close with everybody, because he has other stuff going on. Like, he has other relationships that will become clearer as the show goes on. But yeah, I think you're right. Bulkhead is definitely the one who would have been, like, the least narratively impactful.
Yeah.
If you could swap out any Prime character with an Armada one, whom and whym? Swap.
I wouldn't. I like the Prime cast way more.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where I think I would like to see Blur, but I don't know who. I don't think I would swap anyone. I think it'd be really funny if I swapped Cliffjumper for, like, Sideswipe.
I mean, we haven't gotten to them yet, but you could probably, like, switch out Breakdown for Ironhide and not lose anything of value.
Or Smokescreen and Hotshot.
Right.
Kind of the same. And finally...
Wheeljack and Silverbolt.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah, Blur would totally be Wheeljack's.
Yeah.
Take Wheeljack's place. But instead of 2 cool swords, it's 2 cool guns. Finally, Cass Arachnid asks, if Cliffjumper was paired up with a Necromancer as a Cavalier from getting the 9th, who do you think you would get along with best? This is a question for me.
It sure fucking is.
Okay. I'm running through the list of Necromancers in my head. Who would appreciate a rowdy dumbass? I think he might get along best
Harrow.
With either... No. She already has a rowdy dumbass. It would either be Abigail Pent or I forget the teen, but I think he would like to hang out with a cool guy. I can't believe I forgot his name. But yeah, I think it would be either one of those two. Because, like, all of the rest of them are so perfectly... Like, all the rest of them are so perfectly paired up with their Cavaliers, and their personalities just wouldn't mesh well. But I think either Abigail or... Isaac, that's his name, Isaac. Maybe. Nah, it's just those two. Alright. Overlord Bunny asks, just any time you think it'd be funny, what would Cliffjumper do?
I mean, historically, die.
Get his appendix ripped out, or get bifurcated.
Bifurcation seems to be his favorite.
get eaten by Unicron. I mean, there's so many things. Casey Cosmo Sector asks, what celebrity guest would you like to voice a Transformer that immediately dies on their way to the home planet after the end?
Nicki Minaj.
God. Karshmallow asks, what mechanical shenaniganry do you have instead of a voice box? Assuming talking about Soundwave here.
Or Bumblebee.
Semaphore flags. automatic semaphore flag system.
I just have emojis.
Oh my god, like that guy from fucking Watch Dogs 2, Wrench.
Yeah.
With the little emoji mask. I like that guy. What a great character.
Alright. Further down, from Casey Cosmetector, what meme would you show a specific Transformer? I would show the PS5 TikTok to Megatron. So maybe he gets a little bit of foreshadowing when he starts hearing Unicron's voice in his head.
I would show Soundwave any meme with a Vine boom in it, just so he can do that on command.
Pretty good.
What would I want to show Ratchet something. I feel like I would get Ratchet onto Minion memes. I think he'd adore those.
That'd be really good. I'd also show him the TikTok where it's like, is that a weed? I'm calling cops. With the microwave. Is that a cop? I'm calling weed. 420.
Cass Arachnid asks, if the Allspark brought to life a Motorola Razr, what would their personality, alignment, and name be? What about a Nokia brick?
Okay, the Razr would just be called Razr.
Yeah. Edgy, like, kind of maybe a femme fatale sort of situation. As much of a femme fatale as a tiny phone robot could be.
And I think they would be a nail.
The Nokia brick is just called Brick.
No, the Nokia brick is called Flip.
Oh my god. And they are indestructible.
And they are the Starscream. They cannot die. You cannot kill you cannot kill Flip in any way that matters.
Yep. Slipstream Sam asks, would you describe Ratchet in this show as a DILF on a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah, no, sorry, he's a GILF.
Yeah, I was about to say he's a GILF. And that's a 10 on that scale.
Yeah, but I was going to say a 9, but yeah.
He is definitely a GILF. Cassarachnid asks, what are some of your favorite wormholes in fiction?
Interstellar?
I was actually also going to say Interstellar. I like that it's around Saturn, which is the best planet.
It's also, like, one of the most relevant. Like,
yeah.
Like, Interstellar more than any other media I can think of. Actually,
there's a lot of wormholes.
Well, and it focuses on what it means to be a wormhole, as opposed to it's just like, here's a portal. You know, there's like Stargate, but like Stargate's like, here's a portal.
There's also Event Horizon. I like that one. That's a wormhole to hell.
Well, yeah.
Sam Neill made a spaceship that's powered by hell.
Which you won't need eyes to see.
Nope, we don't need eyes where we're going, old boy.
Yep.
In fact, it really helps if you don't have eyes, frankly.
Finally from Stormcast, do you have a preferred alt mode that you'd want to be as a Transformers, or heck, how about a Cybertronian OC type name?
USB stick, just like my boy Rewind.
I think I had something. I think maybe like something I would want to fly.
Yeah.
I would want to fly for sure. So maybe like a stealth bomber, but there's no bombs. I'm just stealthy and a waste of $1 trillion of the U.S.'s money.
If it rains, you fall out of the sky.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe, God, in terms of name, I don't know. I've always been like drawn to the name Aurora for a Transformers OC, thinking of something probably a shuttle that could see the Aurora Borealis, or that could just see you know, auroras of various stars in general, something like that.
See, I was gonna answer. I want to be like a big bulky ATV like Bulkhead is, but flying is really cool.
Like that's the thing. I want to be able to fly.
Helicopter.
Not a bad choice.
Not that many helicopter Transformers.
Not a ton. Really.
At least none that are like super major in a lot of different things. Obviously, there's Whirl.
Well, and Vortex.
And Vortex.
Vortex
is not as major though.
I mean, it depends on your continuity.
He's around. He's there.
It depends.
Blades is also sometimes
Whirl is obviously much more
there.
Relevant in the comics, but Vortex is way more relevant in like G1 and
Whirl
actually
was contractually restricted from showing up in the cartoon.
And the War and Fall of games.
Yeah, that's right.
Bruticus is a very big part of that.
I guess there's also I also forgot about Cyclonus, Armada Cyclonus, who was also a helicopter.
Who cares? Literally, who cares?
Whom? I've already forgotten. As for name, I don't know. I haven't thought about names. Blades is already taken. Whirl is already taken. All the good helicopter names are already taken.
How about Birdie?
No. Well, we've been Prime Cuts. You can find us on Twitter at PrimeCutsPod, where you can join our Discord, where, who knows, perhaps we'll stream a movie or have a Jackbox night. Anything could happen at any time. So be on your toes.
Yeah, we keep everyone spry here.
As for me, you can find me on Twitter at DragonSmoocher. You can find my various projects all over the place, such as that their Disney Minus podcast, where I am elbow deep in the dog shit of Disney Plus, especially this week, watching To the Mat, a fucking D-com about a blind guy who wants to get into high school wrestling. Wayne Brady is in that film. He's also blind.
Sounds bad.
I'm sure it will go great.
Sounds not ideal.
I'm going to have to make like a separate list on my... I keep track of all my rankings for those movies. I'm going to have to make a separate list for the DComs because they aren't real movies. It would be unfair to rank them alongside even trash like, I don't know, Beverly
Mars
Hills
Needs
Chihuahua.
Moms.
You can also find my Final Fantasy XIV companion podcast at Heidelin Radio. That is Radio Free Heidelin. That first episode is going up this Sunday, same day as this episode. By the time you hear this, you will almost certainly also be able to listen to the first proper episode of Radio Free Heidelin, where we played the first 9 levels of the MSQ. We also have our Endwalker post-mortem episode up there that we recorded all the way back in January, right after we finished it. But don't listen to that one if you haven't played Endwalker, obviously. Also, that is my good friend Jane, and we also had a podcast in the past. That is Podcast of Power, a podcast all about She-Ra. That is at Podcast of Power on Twitter. Huge backlog, great stuff, good show, good podcast.
Cool. I'm Audrey. You can find me on Tumblr and Twitter at Optimum Prime. That's my funny robot internet joke. You can also listen to the other podcast I do called Pot of Greed. You can find us on Twitter at Pot of Greedcast. It's about Yu-Gi-Oh! And again, we are in the middle of registering still through the end of May for the annual Cup of Greed tournament celebrating Yugi Muto's birthday, which will be the weekend of June 3rd to 5th. So if you are interested in Yu-Gi-Oh! The series and want to hear a podcast about it, listen to us. If you are interested in Yu-Gi-Oh! The game and want a tournament, a fun-free gimmicky tournament where we all put on funny voices and get into kayfabe, join our tournament. And you can find both this show and Pot of Greed on the Noisepace Network, which you can find at noisepace.xyz. It's a lot of other good stuff there, including Wow Cool Robot, a Gundam podcast that I also used to be on very briefly, and might be relevant to listeners of this particular podcast. There's Nanoroy's Night Marinera. There's City Girls Make Do. A lot of good stuff. So, yeah, give us a listen there. You can find the link to our Discord in the description of all of our episodes, as well as the URL section of our Twitter. And until next time, I'm going to put on I Believe in a Thing Called Love by the Darkness on repeat. Transform and roll out.
I'm going to use my long audio cable tendrils to grab a beer from the fridge, transform, and relax.
Peach.
Peach.